This is Dave Pellegrinelli at TitleSearch.com. One of the most common questions that we hear is how long does it take to actually get a title search? Many of the clients that we have are looking at foreclosure properties which have a very specific auction date. It could be a tax sale which also has a deadline. In some cases, it's a person who has purchased a property and has a right of refusal or a deadline to make final payment. So let's first take a look at the process of performing a title search to see what the time goes into it. It's not an electronic search where you punch in an address and the title pops up on your screen. The actual search time for the examiner in the records room, looking at books and deeds and documents, sometimes microfilm, is actually 5 to 9 hours of search time. But there's more that goes into it than that. There's usually 1 hour of prep work of analyzing the legal description, finding the APN, and getting some of the legwork done in our title plant in-house prior to sending it into the field for that title examiner who is actually in the land records office of the county where the property is located. So in addition to that, you have about 30 minutes to 1 hour of abstracting time after all those documents are pulled, and then maybe another 45 minutes of creating the report. So altogether, it's usually 10 to 12 hours worth of research that goes into it. Now, first of all, on a side note, that's a pretty good deal for $100 or $150 for a title search. So depending upon when the order comes in, what time of day it comes in, and the complexity of the records, the average time for a title search is 1 to 3 business days. Now, in some cases, that may be too long for a client. We sometimes can put a rush on a search and get it back the same day, even within a few hours. It's going to depend on how complex those documents are, how many liens there are. Complexity of records is also affected by foreclosures and tax sales. Those properties, by definition, have more complicated records because of the distressed property filings. If there's a common name of ownership, for example, Joe Smith may be an owner of a property. Joe Smith may have 100 or 200 records in that name in the county deed books. Now, of course, all of the Joe Smiths aren't the same person and aren't for that property, but each one has to be reviewed to make sure it's not the subject property. As a side note, property records are indexed by name, not by property. And that's why I bring that up, because you may ask, well, why do I have to look at all the records for Joe Smith? I just need 12 Main Street. Well, the documents aren't indexed by 12 Main Street, they're indexed by Joe Smith. That makes, our world of doing title searches fun and exciting. At the same time, once all the documents are pulled from the deed books over those 5 to 9 hours of search time, they need to be cross-referenced, meaning that we'll read through each document to see if one of the deeds or mortgages or liens says, hey, look at document number 1234, which may not have been part of the first index pull. So to make a long story short, a title search on average takes 1 to 3 business days. Most of the searches take 1.5 or maybe 30 hours from the time it's ordered until the time it's in the hands of the client. If a client has a very specific time frame or deadline and needs it within a few hours or needs it the same day, we do have methods of speeding up the search process. We can put 2 or 3 examiners on one search in order to get that report, that certified title abstract, back to you as a client quicker. So if 2 or 3 days works for you, then just go ahead and place the order. If you need it faster, give us a call. Contact one of our client services reps. Let's talk about the address, where it's located. We'll take a quick look at how complex the records might be, and we'll see if we can get it back to you faster. If it is a foreclosure property, certainly let us know, so we'll be aware that those records exist. We want to make sure we get you a very thorough and complete search using the appropriate search best practices, so you get the liens and mortgage information that you need to know. So that answers the question, how long does a title search take? 2 to 3 business days on average for the actual searcher, and we can get it done a little bit faster if you need to. One thing to keep in mind, again, it's not an electronic search. It is a manual review of books and documents and records that are in land records offices, physically recorded and hard copy documents. If you need more information, you can reach our website, titlesearch.com. Our phone number is 877-848-5337.